Why? What the motivation was? I don't...
What happened? There isn't much to explain. He was connected to an IV.
So what went wrong?
He tried to pull it out.
What?
Amy's right. Now, Tolliver was still partially sedated from the surgery, but he attempted to pull out the catheters from his IV.
He expired less than a minute later.
What are you listing as the primary cause of death?
Cardiac arrest. It was simple. His heart simply stopped.
As I said, there isn't much detail. Unless you have some questions.
I do. I'm stunned, of course. But I still have a whole lot of unanswered questions at this point. Could you come over here, please? Now, would you say that Tolliver understood that he was in grave condition?
I think he did before surgery and afterwards.
But, I mean, wasn't he still groggy? I mean, after all, he was sedated and he was hooked up to IV tubes. I spoke to him myself.
But there was still some lingering side effects from the anesthesia, and he was sedated against post-operative pain.
So it's possible he never really understood the danger he was in. Did he have any visitors after I talked to him?
They insisted on seeing him.
Who were they?
Jimmy Lee and a construction worker that he met here at the hospital, Red.
And Alan Quartermain saw him, too.
Excuse me, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
The press conference has been set up in your office, sir. They'll begin whenever you get there.
Thank you. Now, let's get back to Jimmy Lee and Red. You know that they both talked to him?
Yes, they went in one at a time.
Were you close enough to hear the conversation?
No, I wasn't, but I did see them talking.
Well, go on. They talked, and then what?
They left.
And Tolliver was still functioning.
Yes, he was. He collapsed right after they left.
Did they know he collapsed?
Yes, they were there when the patient died.
Okay, wait a minute. You said that they just left.
Oh, maybe I can explain that. When he collapsed, the nurse does a code blue. That notifies the crash guard.
Go on.
Well, apparently, Jimmy Lee heard that code blue. He came back, but Tolliver was dead by then.
He knew Tolliver died?
Yes, I told him myself.
What was his reaction?
Startled.
Surprised?
Yes, you could say that.
What difference does that make?
Could make all the difference in the world. Thank you.
You know it's freezing in here?
Is it?
You wouldn't happen to have a cup of hot coffee, would you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did, but I cleaned the pot this morning and put it away.
Well, whatever you do, don't go to any extra trouble to make some for me.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the distinct impression you'd rather not have company.
Listen, I just have a lot to do, that's all.
Looks like you're going to have company whether you like it or not.
Who's that?
That could be your answer.
Well, Celia, what a pleasant surprise this is.
Yes, it is for me, too.
As a matter of fact, Holly mentioned something to the effect that she's meeting you for lunch today.
That's right, at Dino's. Would you like to join us?
Wonderful idea, but I'm afraid not a chance. I have work to do, people to see.
Ah, well, far be it from me to interfere. Excuse me?
Just, would you wait a second?
Yes?
Thanks for bringing my stuff and cleaning it for me. Appreciate it.
Think nothing of it. Bye.
Where are they? Who? I'm talking about what, not who. In particular, the documents that Tolliver was blackmailing the Quartermains with.
How should I know?
Because he gave them to you.
Come on, no way.
Come on, pal. You were the last one to see him alive.
So what? That doesn't mean he gave me the papers.
I think he did.
Well, I tell you something. He must have known a lot of people. He could have given it to any one of them.
I say, he gave them to you. Now, you going to deny it?
Of course I deny it. How many times do I have to deny it?
I'm sorry. I'll come
It's okay, Lulu. I want you to meet the new police commissioner. Lulu, Mr. Scorpio.
Lulu, I'll get back to you later.
Okay.
What was he doing here?
Nothing much.
Tell me.
Nothing to do with you. Came to see me.
Oh,
Don't get all shook up.
Are you sure he was here to see you?
Yes, I'm positive. I introduced you to the police commissioner and you get all bent out of shape. What's the matter?
I did not.
You kidding? You're still shaking. Why?
Mr. Quartermain.
Scorpio, I'm sorry to arrive here unannounced, but it's imperative that I see your husband.
He's not here.
Well, do you have any idea where I might find him?
Right at this moment, no, I don't. He's scheduled a press conference, however, so you might try him at his office.
Yes, I did, and he hasn't come there yet. Tell me, do you have any idea what he intends to say at this press conference?
Wouldn't it be better if you asked him that yourself?
Well, I intend to, but, you know, after all, we are all friends.
Are we?
Yes, certainly. And I'm sure if you have any idea of any new evidence that he plans to present, you would be happy to tell me.
Well, I might, but would you believe me?
Well, of course I would believe you. Why would you doubt that?
Well, there was that time at the Versailles room when we met. You called me a con artist and a thief. So why would you believe what I said now?
Yes, well, if I did characterize you in those words, I do apologize. But I hope you understand. I had just suffered some very severe financial reverses, and I was terribly upset. I spoke, I'm afraid, out of the heat of the moment.
Well, we'll let it go at that then, shall we?
Thank you. Now as to what Robert plans to announce at this news conference.
There is one thing that I can tell you.
Well, I'd be very grateful. What?
Well, it's starting any minute now, so really, you're wasting your time here with me.
Well, there's nothing you could tell me?
Only that I have a luncheon date that I really don't want to be late for, so if you don't mind.
Oh, well, I shall try to intercept your husband at the office.
Yes, you do that.
And once again, I do apologize for intruding.
Goodbye, Mr. Quartermain.
What time is it?
A little after 2.
Well, we might as well turn on the television set. The local station's going to broadcast the press conference.
You better keep the volume down low.
Oh, really, Alan? I mean, what is the point? Most of the town's going to be watching, and we know what we're in for. Might as well listen to it loud and clear.
Commissioner, we have a few questions to ask you.
You see that police officer there? What are all those papers that he's got?
Well, I doubt very much if it's the local weather reports.
You see Father anywhere in the crowd?
No, I don't. It worries me.
And a connection between the three of them. Weber, Quartermain, and family.
All right, I have a statement to make first. Then I will be happy to answer any of your questions. Now, I've called this conference to clarify the events which led up to the murder of Susan Moore Baldwin. I intend to reveal how she was murdered, but more important, why. Could there some extortion attempt here? In the other suspects.
What about the other suspects in the case? Commissioner?
All right. Now, I can now establish that Crane Tolliver came to Port Charles for the express purpose of executing an extortion plot on the Quartermain family. To that end, Susan Baldwin became his co-conspirator in that attempt.
What was the plot?
I'd like to know why he picked the Quartermain family as his victim.
Does this mean the Quartermains knew Tolliver when they got here?
Yeah, let me continue. First, I'd like you to bear this point in mind, and that is that Susan Baldwin was the mother of Alan Quartermain's son. Move along. Apparently, while executing this extortion plot, Crane Tolliver and Susan Baldwin had a falling out, whereby he shot her. Later, he admitted his guilt to one Heather Weber. That admission was heard in its entirety by a Port Charles police officer who has a recording of it. Now, Officer Jones here has exact transcripts of Tolliver's confession to Heather Weber. If we'll just take a few minutes while he passes them out and you can scan them briefly. All right, now if I can conclude this, Crane Tolliver was arrested and then shot while attempting to flee the scene of the crime. He underwent surgery in General Hospital where he later died last night. He made no further statements. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Commissioner. I have a question. Mr. Commissioner, you haven't explained to us why Tolliver chose the Quartermains as his target.
No, I haven't.
Well, in all due respect, sir, but isn't that the key to this story?
The key to this story is Crane Tolliver. And as I've said, he's now dead.
Yes, I know that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about extortion. Now, if what you said is true, there was some kind of connection between Tolliver and the Quartermains. Tolliver must have had something on the Quartermains.
It's a reasonable assumption. But it isn't the reason that I called this conference. Any further questions?
No, sir, you haven't answered the last one. Now, as a member of the press and a citizen of this city, I demand an answer. What was the connection between the Quartermains and this man Tolliver? What did Tolliver have on the Quartermains that enabled him to extort their money?
You know, I still can't believe it. 5 years ago, when we were in school together in Switzerland, I thought that we would never see each other again when we graduated.
Well, I felt the same way, and now here we both are.
And in Port Charles. Switzerland seems a million miles away.
I mean, in some ways, it is. An awful lot has happened.
Well, a lot has certainly happened to you, Holly. I think Robert is divine. Is he really as sexy as he looks?
Good Lord, Celia, what a question.
No, never mind. I know the answer. It shows.
What?
Haven't you any idea how much you've changed? I mean, it must be your gorgeous husband.
I don't think I've changed that much.
Holly, I have known you since way back when. And you're a very straight-laced kid. I mean, a real Victorian.
Do you really think that?
All the girls in school thought that. Don't misunderstand me. I loved you for it. But look at you now. You practically glow.
Oh, Celia, come on.
No, it's true. And the reason is quite obvious. I'm sure that a good bed partner is good for a girl.
You've been reading too many books.
Oh, no, it's the truth. Now tell me about Robert. How did you two first meet?
Well, I'd known him for a while before we were married.
Did he turn you on right from the first?
Well, I always thought he was very good looking.
Good looking? He's a hunk.
Well, for that matter, so is Grant. I've been waiting to ask you about him.
Ask me what?
Well, what happened? What happened to change your mind? You weren't exactly thrilled about him 5 years ago.
Thrilled? I thought he was a real wimp.
Oh, you didn't?
I certainly did. And then we were apart for a while.
Right, when he was at med school, anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And when I saw him again, somehow he'd changed.
How?
Just, all I know is that he changed a lot. And I just can't account for it.
Well, you're obviously happy, and I'm very glad for you.
I'm very happy for you, too. You've not only got an incredible husband, but I hear you also have a divine house.
Yes, well, I've worked very hard on it.
You were always very good at that. Did you decorate it yourself?
Yes, I did, and I really love doing it, you know. We've got some nice antiques now, and we just got a pretty good stereo system.
I'll bet that's Robert's pride and joy.
Yeah, well, it's fairly elaborate, but we both really love it. You know, I'd really like it if you could come over and see it now that it's just about finished.
I'm dying to. Have you had your first party yet?
Well, no, I was waiting till everything was in place.
Oh, well, then I have a brilliant idea. You can have a housewarming, a cocktail party.
That would be very nice someday.
Someday? What do you mean? You can have it tomorrow.
Oh, are you kidding? Tomorrow?
Yes, why not? I'll help you. A good party's a breeze when you put your mind to it. Waiter. Waiter, we'd like some more wine, please. And then would you bring me the local phone book? Yes, the classified pages. Yellow.
What do you want with the classified pages?
Well, to get the caterer, of course. Oh, Holly, this is so much fun already.
I don't know. I mean, I really think I should ask Robert first.
Oh, nonsense. He'll be as excited as we are. Now, when we make up the guest list, you must invite that Jimmy Lee, what's his name?
Holt.
Yes, that's it. Jimmy Lee Holt. I think he's darling. And then we'll need a good florist. You must know a good florist.
Do you know, as a matter of fact, I do. He specializes in party. I'll invite him over to the house. He can check out the color scheme and, what are you smiling at?
You. You're getting into the spirit of this, aren't you?
Yeah, I really am, actually. You're very good for me, Celia. Thank you. This is fun.
Mr. Commissioner, that doesn't answer my question, sir.
I don't have the answer.
You mean to tell me that throughout your investigation, your questioning of Tolliver, other suspects, the relatives, that you never learned the details of the extortion?
That's correct.
Well, Mr. Commissioner, would you happen to know who does have those answers, sir?
No, I don't. However, you may try asking someone who is present in this room.
Who is that, sir?
He's standing at the rear over there. Mr. Edward Quartermain.
Mr. Quartermain, can we get some...
Mr. Quartermain.
What did he mean by that?
What do you have, a press card now, Mr. Quartermain?
I just happened to be here on another matter.
Yes, of course, as long as you hear one question. The commissioner keeps using the word extortion.
He does. I wasn't paying that much attention.
Yes, he used the word extortion consistently.
Yeah, well, if you'll excuse me.
Mr. Quartermain, does extortion really mean blackmail, sir?
Mr. Quartermain,
Don't even try. Edward, if the brain has faith, do anything to get out of there.
Sir, do you care to answer my question?
That is not a question. It's a shot in the dark. I have no intention of dignifying it with an answer.
Mr. Quartermain, I think it only fair to tell you, sir, that I run an investigative newspaper. When we're on a case, we dig until we get all the facts.
Is that a threat?
No, sir, just some friendly advice. And, you know, I think you might serve yourself better if you were open and forthcoming, sir.
I am always open and forthcoming, even with a newspaper such as yours.
Then we're back to my question.
To which my reply is, there was a small personal embarrassment involved.
what was that?
And that is all I intend to say on the subject.
Don't you mean it was a very large embarrassment, Mr. Quartermain?
Answer the editor's question. Would you mind, Mr. Quartermain?
Excuse us, sir.
Large enough to be worth killing for.
Oh, Robert, I'm glad you're in. How did the press conference go?
Oh, it's over. Did you watch it on TV?
No, I wanted to, but I was out. I had lunch with Celia. Was it really rough?
I swear the local press corps have to be descended from vultures. However, I got through it. How was lunch?
It was fun. We talked about school for hours, and we finally caught up on everything. I think we're back on the same wavelength we always were.
Celia is indeed quite a girl.
She is. I'd forgotten how enthusiastic she can be about everything. Oh, that reminds me. We talked about throwing a party, a housewarming.
Oh, whose housewarming?
Ours. I hope you don't mind.
No, not at all. I think it's a wonderful idea. When were you thinking of giving it?
Tomorrow, actually.
Holly, isn't this a little sudden?
Well, that's what I thought at first, but as Celia said, it's those last-minute parties that always work out the best.
Okay, well, what are we talking about here? A few friends?
Well, perhaps a few more.
You've got to get all this done by tomorrow night. Now, that's a lot of work. Can you do it?
Are you kidding? You haven't seen Celia once she gets going. I mean, we were right in the restaurant. She's calling the caterer and the florist. Are you sure you don't mind?
No, not at all. Hell, that's a great idea. It's about time we had a bit of fun around here. Yes, it's great. Who are you asking?
Well, that is my department. All you have to do tomorrow night is open the door, be surprised, and have a ball.